Hey guys, it's Dave with MACkite. We are here in Brazil and we're going to be talking about one of my favorite transition tricks of all time and one of my favorite overall slide type tricks, and that is a front roll hand drag. So it's a play on the back roll hand drag, very similar, pretty much identical as far as the kite steering goes, but from a body movement and body positioning, very, very different, and we're going to talk about those differences and help get you guys into this one. So let's get started. So in order to do the front roll hand drag, I would say a prerequisite for this one is going to be having the back roll hand drag down, as well as naturally you want to be able to already do front rolls, but this feels so different from most front rolls that I almost want to consider it not a prerequisite, but for argument's sake, I think you should already be quite comfortable with front rolls and rotations like this because I think it's going to be a good foundation. So when doing the front roll hand drag, the kite movement is the same as all of your other slide tricks, whether that be back roll hand drag, the hat drag, dark slide, Jesus walk, any of these tricks where you really need to just have tight kite control in order to keep you just barely floating along the surface of the water, and then looping at the end to get you out of it and have enough oomph in the kite to really like pick you back up. So everything is the same there. You're still doing this all with backhanded kite steering. So getting used to that, being able to do these tricks. Like I said, the back roll hand drag is probably the easiest, maybe the dark slide I would say, as far as getting into your initial slide tricks. So have these ones dialed in, that way the kite movement is already kind of second nature. You don't have to think about that too much. Now, getting into the part that's very different, and that is what you have to do with your body. So with the back roll hand drag, you're used to kind of carving upwind, sort of just letting your board slide out from under you, popping just a little bit, and you're already reaching back and reaching for the water. So that one I think kind of comes a little bit more naturally. You're sort of following the natural flow you would do for a transition. Where with the front roll hand drag, you're really relying on that fine kite control, because you're going to be riding crosswind with some speed and then letting off your edge a bit. And as you come into it, you really want to think about not edging and popping, but just doing the tiniest little pop, just enough to not catch the front lip of your board as you reach over. And then what you want to think about doing is you're reaching for the water, I would say about a 45-degree angle off of your board. So looking off of your front foot, for example, you're not going straight off in front of your toes. You're not going straight off the front of the board. You're going in between those two, and it's not going to be right by where you touched. Whereas like in a back roll hand drag, you're sort of leaning right into where you're going to be touching the water. You don't really think about reaching out or reaching in a specific direction. With this one, you're kind of popping just slightly and almost diving forward. You're kind of leaning and reaching out towards the water and spotting where exactly in that water you're going to be dragging your hand. So as you do this, really don't try to come straight down. Don't tuck into it, because you're gonna cartwheel. It'll be fun, it'll look fun, but it's really gonna catch your edge so quickly. So really think about trying to do a slight pop and travel a bit of distance. I would say travel maybe 5-8 feet even before you touch the water is probably about right. And I think that's gonna help you with over rotating or catching early. So ride in, crosswind with some speed, not on too much of an edge, slight pop, reach out forward to touch the water. As you do, you're going to kind of keep tucking what would be your front shoulder, tuck that down. As you catch the water and you drag your hand, it's going to initiate that rotation too. So keep in mind the resistance you create in the water with your hand is going to change how fast you're rotating. So think about moving that kite slow, reach, have the water resistance start your initiation of your rotation, and then think about pulling the loop quite late, because if you pull it early, you're going to be backwards. It's going to yank pretty good if you pull it early, and it can spell for a bit of a disaster as far as the landing goes. So really the safe initial bet is coming through, reaching, starting that rotation, and then as you can feel that you're running out of power in the kite, initiate that loop. And it is going to feel quite different from the back roll hand drag, which feels like it kind of comes along with your direction of travel because of the way that flows as a transition. This one, you will feel a bit more of a yank, so you need to keep your core tight as that loop happens. You'll come around and look to spot your landing, and then really try to just get the rest of your body around. Your body's going to follow your head, so really, as soon as you're pulling that loop, look for your landing. And in some of these videos, hopefully the POV shot helps you understand like what exactly we're looking at here. As you see, as I come in, reach for it, start to pull the loop. As you come around, it's going to be a quick last bit of rotation. Look to spot your landing, stomp it, and then ride away. And you can keep pulling that loop in order to make it a transition, or you can finish it off and continue the way you go. I prefer to do it as a transition. I think the way your body movement and the timing, I actually find it easier to do as a transition rather than a continual directional trick. So this one might take a little bit of getting used to. It's gonna feel weird at first, especially if you're already used to the other kinds of slide tricks, which I think the way you rotate through kind of flows a little bit more naturally with this movement. This one I think feels a little bit counterintuitive by the movement, but then again, I think for all of us, your initial front rolls probably felt the same way of popping and rotating the opposite direction. So keep at it. It might take you a little bit, or maybe you get it right away and you know, that's amazing. But don't get discouraged if it feels like it's coming off kind of weird. Feel free to drop some comments below if you guys are trying this one, having some trouble, noticing some things. I love interacting with you guys. I love when you guys send questions or tell me what kind of videos you guys want to see. I'm always going to be checking these videos and trying to respond to them. So feel free to drop any of your comments below or your questions. And also, if you end up here in Brazil during the end of the 2024 season, let me know. I'm going to be around. Would love to catch a session with you guys. So we'll see you guys in the next one.